page here, live here on Gateway Sports. And boy, coming through, only been going and gone for 2 weeks. We got a little bit of news to talk about some major signing within a league that is not the AF1 or IFL. We also got to talk about a head coach that steps down due to personal reasons. Then that one gets a quick head coach hire as well, just from within. Then we got a new team being announced for the Arena League after the Duluth Harbor Monsters, now the Minnesota Monsters, moved to the AF1. Then we also have, like, I believe I talked about double check to make sure. Sorry about that. So let's start with, of course, with the head coach that steps down, and that is, of course, Coach O'Neill for the Minnesota Monsters, which we will go right here. And this is what he put out. Mental health is something we often push to the back burner, especially in the world of sports, where strength and toughness are praised above all else. For the past 2 years, I've thrown everything I had into football, believing that if I gave the game my all, it could always silence the weight I've been carrying inside. Before that, I spent 5 years pouring my energy into my restaurant, using work as a way to cope with personal loss and pain. Looking back, I see pictures of championships, excuse me, pictures of championships, post-game celebrations, and moments of glory, but those fleeting 3 minutes of happiness after win often followed by long stretches of isolation, overthinking, and emotional struggle. The truth is, I've been fighting a silent battle while trying to be strong. Hold on here. Trying to be strong for everyone else, our players. I help build something special here, a winning culture, a team that plays with heart and purpose. I care deeply about each and every player and everyone, and I believe in the foundation we laid together. But because of that deep care, I know I owe it to this team and to myself to step away and get the help I need. It continues here, just a moment. That was only half of it here. Just come on. There we go. With the full support of our credible owner and front office, I'll be stepping down from my role as head coach of the Minnesota Monsters for this upcoming season to focus on my mental health and personal well being. My goal is to come out of this stronger, healthier, ready to pour all of my energy into the most important part of my life, my children. I want to thank our players, my fellow coaches, the front office, and our amazing fans for allowing me for this space to heal. This isn't goodbye, it's a necessary pause, and I'm grateful to be part of an organization that truly understands the importance of supporting one another both on and off the field. And as you already have, I've talked about on the show here, that Coach O'Neill kind of did get a little bit before they moved the Harbor Monsters formed of the AAL, the THL, sorry, to the AF1. There was, of course, a little bit of a drama, of course, now like being suspended, and the AL accusing Coach O'Neill of some things that honestly I can consider, I honestly, in my opinion, could consider as slander. So that hurts well. So you got that a combination of the problems in the inner part, of course, as you said, with his restaurant, and just try to just drain out with both his restaurant and football. He basically said, I need a break. And so now, because of his leave, the Harbor Monsters, let me get it here. All right, here we go. They did obviously probably was the best choice. It's just hire from within with one of the coordinators he hires, and that of course is now their new head coach, who was now their former offensive coordinator, Darren Clark, and he of course was an assistant coach with the Arena League with the Harbor Monsters, with Coach O'Neill being one that hired him. He also has been an assistant coach for the National Arena League as well. He also played arena football in both the IFL Arena Football one, and also did some play time within the Canadian Football League. And in this announcement, Darian Clark said in announcement, coming into a new league as a new team will always come with challenges. I'm fully prepared for the 2026 AF1 season and looking forward to proving my worth, talent, and skill as a head coach. Owner Jake Lambert said, we are excited that Coach Clark will be stepping into this role. He is an ex-area coach, and we can't wait to see how he involves the Monsters. A little bit more deal with his, in 2008, Clark was second team as a punt returner for Stillman College. The Stillman College Tigers were an NCAA 2 football team until 2015. I'm assuming they moved up. And Clark will make his debut at Duluth as a new conference on Wednesday, October 9th. And of course, that was one of the two announcements from the last show that I mentioned that they planned. Of course, the official was, of course, the official press conference. Sorry about that. Introducing the Duluth Harbor Monsters to the community of Minnesota. Well, they already did know them. It's just that they're no longer a a 6 or 7 man team, and they're now an 8 man team playing Arena Football and Arena Football 1, and no longer in the Arena League. And this is an article about the press conference by the Northland fan here. And with some more information here, if it will just load a little bit. All right. A new, bigger, badder monster has been unleashed into the Northland sports world. In a joint event with representatives from Duluth's Minnesota Monsters and the AF1 Football League on hand, a new logo and a deeper look into what Accept will. Hold on. Excuse me. Look into what expect we shared with media and members of the public as Duluth joins new league. As we shared previously, the Lumbert Harbor Monsters made a decision to jump into a new league after their second season in the Arena League and also being back-to-back champions. The move to AF1 is being billed by team leadership as bigger and better in every way, from opportunities for players, fan experience, and exposure for the Duluth area. As part of the move, the team needed to rebrand due to previously owning the branding they had been previously using. So that makes a lot of sense because the Duluth Harbor Monster is owned by the Arena League. And like I said, the Arena League was not too happy. So them leaving. So after you're kind of starting over again in a way, but not really. So like go as Minnesota, not Duluth, and go as Monsters, not Harbor Monsters anymore. So I digress here. Team CEO and General Manager Steve Walters spoke about how they deliberately designed a new logo and looked for the team to feel familiar to the loyal fans who have supported them over the last couple of years. Walters commented that while they are excited about the new look, they also embrace the fans who will show up to games around the community spying their legacy branded gear. Well, of course, some people don't want to buy new gear, just that heck. How and for the pro teams, like there's you could expect a new jersey every 6 or 7 years. Besides unveiling a new logo, new Minnesota Monsters owner Jake Lambert, new head coach Darren Clark, and AF1 CEO Jerry Kurtz were on hand to speak season and answer fan and media questions. Kurtz, who was instrumental in developing the original Arena Football League in the 1980s, spoke in depth about how excited he is for Duluth to be joining a new league, which enters its second season in 2026. He explained that adding a championship winning team with a large, engaged fan base to their new league is exactly what they are looking for as they continue to grow their footprint around the country. Walters and Kurtz both addressed concern for members of the audience that the rebrand to Minnesota Month was indication that the team may lose Duluth someday. Walters clearly related, as has been reported before, that this will continue to be Duluth's team. Like I said, they just can't use the Duluth part is just it's owned by the team by the THL right now. Kurtz addressed concerns about the size of the DECC arena if they continue to grow attendance, noting that there's another larger building very close to the current home that could serve as a future venue for the team if needed. He said his main focus is seeing if the DECC arena filled up every game before worrying about that. Smart. More clarity was also provided about the new seats will look for the Minnesota Monsters. The game experience for fans is being promised to be even more exciting and action-packed than we had previously been offered at a Monsters game. As Kurtz put it, downtime at a football game is like dead air on the radio. You don't want that to happen. Walters pointed to live music, giveaways, and other interactive opportunities outside the game paired up with game action that will offer more. Okay, continue here if it will. So, all right. The final schedule has not been released yet, but is expected to come out in the next few weeks. Kurt says that they're trying to fill a few geographic holes with expansion teams. Yet once the expansion is complete, the schedule will be finalized and released. And unfortunately, I can't look up the new logos because the current program it's not letting me at the reason, but I'm hoping to get that fixed soon. In a moment, one moment, please. Okay, so that deals with the whole move with the Minnesota Monsters here. So now it's just going to be quite interesting what happens with this league, well, with this team and stuff, and also what other official announcement of the Oceanside Bombers that is here. So I actually want to get to that because there was an announcement of a team ambassador and of that team, and like they've been filling out like their front office, their stuff. They're like, it's not announced, but they have the AF1 logo on their banners and stuff. So it's just quite interesting how this team for a team in California that they're doing with this and not with previously they had with Stockton, which that page is causing a lot of us within the recruited some side eyes, like I wrote like raised eyebrows because they're putting out like AI generated jerseys and some other stuff. So it's like, is someone actually running this page or is there like a bot in charge that someone put in? Because it doesn't seem like they're going to be playing this year. So, unless, of course, that can change because they have one has already stated. There we go. Oceanside Bombers and whoa, close to 5,000 followers according on Facebook here. That's actually pretty good. All right. Ah, yes, here we go. This is what I was looking for. And just to remind people, the Oceanside Bombers logo and layout is kind of similar to the Kansas City Brigade from the Arena Football League days, especially from the video game. So that's actually quite neat to get that back. So, okay. They got a thing. So they have a Facebook and Instagram, and yeah, like, so yes, from Oceanside. And yeah, here we go. If it will. Okay, yep, here we go. Yeah. Willie Buchanan joins the Oceanside Bombers professional arena football team as the new team ambassador. Let me see if it will let me load here. Like, strangely, Facebook has been having some problems loading. It's better on the mobile than it is on their on their desktop website, which is odd. So come on now. There we go, slowly but surely. Yeah, this and let's see, that is I clicked on it, but no, this is a person that's gonna be on their board. Hold on here. That doesn't seem right. Hmm. While that loads up, let me go with the latest signings with the AF1 here, because The big one throughout the last 2 weeks that have been signed is actually Oregon. So the Oregon Lightning getting some players here. Wide receiver Chris Lewis from Kentucky Christian, offensive lineman Noel Smith from Arkansas Tech, DB Shane Murlbot from the Ivy League of Dartmouth, defensive back Damon Lynch from Simon Fraser University, linebacker defensive line James Dorier from Eastern Michigan, wide receiver Maurice Ashley from Bridgewater State University. Come on. All right. Fullback slash linebacker Razid Reed from Weber State University. Washington Wolfpack signs defensive back Mikael Lee, Western Oregon. Uh, the Michigan Arsenal signed so far is their second player because after Malik Henry, their quarterback, they got him some help for on the offensive line with Alex Heil, Heil, so Heil from the University of Cincinnati. And then the Kentucky Barrel signed defensive back Cedric Thomas from Fayetteville State. Okay, let's see if I got this finally. All right. There we go. All right, there we go. Willie Buchanan for the Oceanside Bombers. Willie Buchanan, an Oceanside County for resident, is passionate about programs that create opportunities for the youth in the city of North San Diego County. So, like I said, it's kind of interesting that they're going to have the Oceanside Bombers for the AF1. Then you got the San Diego Strike Force that are kind of somewhere in the area in two different leagues. So, it's just going to be quite interesting how that goes. So, Willie has been a Valley resident for many years, following the footsteps of his father, Mance Buchanan, who was a city park named after him. Willie is deeply committed to support our youth, providing them with the tools that need to succeed. A proud alumnus of Oceanside High School and Mira Costa College, Willie is celebrated one of the greatest football players in San Diego State University sports history. His talent caught the attention of the Green Bay Packers, who select him in the first round of the 1972 NFL Draft. The same season, the Associated Press named him NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. Really had an outstanding 11-year NFL career, played even seasons with the Packers and 4 with the San Diego Chargers. Yep, that's good. He finished his career with impressive 20 interceptions, including setting an NFL record with 4 interceptions in a single game. Dang. Yeah, I don't really recall anyone even in the modern era trying to beat that. Jeez. Said because I'm proud to serve the community and look forward to working with the Bombers team. He is proudly inducted into the Junior College Hall of Fame, the San Diego State. About its focus on community and youth programs. Willie has known and partnered with Mayor Esther Sanchez for decades. They have focused on serving the Oceanside community. That belief that his role as ambassador, they will continue to create a positive impact by supporting the programs the Bombers plan to develop with the City Parks and Recreations Department. The representative of the Bombers, along with Buchanan, recently met with Mayor Sanchez, City Manager Jonathan Borrego, and the Director of Parks and Recreation, Manuel Guz, to align the organization's strategic vision of the city regarding youth programs and to focus on the community. Getting really close to have an episode of Parks and Rec. In addition, the organization will work closely with the Main Street Oceanside, whose leaders and board graciously provided office space for the Bombers. The Oceanside Bombers, the professional team, is the first professional sports team founded and based in Oceanside. Said Vern Pertel, president and managing partner of the team. I have known Willie for over 20 years and have always admired his energy and enthusiasm, coaching track and mentoring the youth of our city. Petrol, the city CEO of Strat Health, said, I have worked with Willie on several incentives in the past as executive in the local medical center. Looking forward more stuff and other executive stuff there. So that's actually quite good. Even before being officially announced, you get some people involved in the local community. You already got the mayor involved. You got a big known NFL football player known to be part as an ambassador for the team. And then, like I said before, they mostly have just announced few key pieces of the front office here and there. So that's actually not bad, of course. Now the question is, who is their head coach? And then, of course, players and stuff. So like some skepticism with this at first, but now this is a lot better here because now you got people that are in here and the people that might know what they're actually doing here. So the Oceanside Bombers is a team that you might look out for once we get to see who they hire as head coach. I'm going to probably assume someone local to the area of San Diego, maybe someone from San Diego State, because I know for a fact they're probably going to try to get some San Diego State former players onto that arena team. That's a smart thing to do, and others in the state of California more likely. Trying to remember what's like the count of like it's been a while since I've seen hardly any UCLA, Cal, let's see, San Jose State, some others, and USC on some arena rosters lately, from what I recall. So that will do for the AF1 news. So IFL news, we got some more signings here, but interesting though with their signings because we actually got some, like, first with the Vegas Nighthawks, they actually signed a defensive line, Cedric Wilcox, who is no longer the exempt list, so they signed him, so that was quite interesting. They resigned their Kilker, Gaber Nee, so get that there. Quad City signs defensive back Kenvin Ransom, which was actually a trade from Green Bay for, and all this term, for future considerations. So they got this guy from Green Bay, but now they got future considerations. A term that is so vague and everything with all the other sports here, especially when it comes to hockey, baseball. I know it's really kind of hard for football to consider what is considered future considerations. I don't know. I just hate when it's something for future consideration. Dear Lord, baseball is more of a question mark when it comes to that, because people forget for baseball, for trading, you could actually trade for cash, especially if people that remember watching the movie Moneyball. All right. They signed running back Jarvis Burnett, defensive line David Alborenwia, re-signed defensive back Cameron Harnell, re-signed Carvin Rude, and re-signed their running back Gerard Ware Jr. Very good for their quarterback there, I'll say that. San Diego, this is going to be quite interesting because we spoke of one. Here's something. They actually traded during the break. Green. They actually signed Kamini Clark, the star running back of the Green Bay Packers, and then for some reason, then traded him to Arizona, and I'll explain what the funny part about that is. They signed defensive back Trajan Anderson Watts. Then signed running back David Elder. I guess they were fine with Elder over Clark. Signed defensive back KJ Trujillo. Then the Arizona Rattlers, like I said, they signed offensive lineman Braylon Nelson. Signed defensive back Karvowski Dicius. Put on IR offensive line Michael Brown. Released defensive back Amari Alexander. Then, like I said, they trade running back Harry Clark to San Diego for future considerations. The funny thing about that is now Arizona Rattlers now have both the starting quarterback and the starting running back of the Green Bay Blizzard of last year. Yes, and people know that there's a certain owner, a female owner of the Green Bay Blizzard, that's probably not happy right now. How funny that is. They signed defensive lineman Jakari Larmond. Then also released defensive back Frederick Malloy. Tulsa Oilers had 3 releases. Released defensive line Jakara Smith, Gahandre Conta, defensive back Taylor Hawkins, signed defensive back Callie Jackson, signed wide receiver defensive back running back Anthony James Jr., signed defensive back Malik Sonier, signed defensive lineman Kevin Thurman, and signed defensive lineman John McMillan, so pretty high on defense them this time. Frisch's Freight traded got offensive lineman Dante Lucas from a trade from Green Bay for future considerations. Green Bay signed defensive lineman Jonathan Ross. Iowa Barnstormers release offensive lineman Caden Buzzer. Jacksonville Sharks signed offensive lineman Baraka Beckett. San Antonio Gunslingers signed running back Smith Kelvin. Signed offensive lineman Dacian Carroll. Signed defensive lineman Daniel Williams. Running back Justin Stockton. Northern Arizona signed wide receiver Jordan Jukes. Then the new team, New Mexico, signed wide receiver running back Andrew Banks. Signed wide receiver running back Maurice Ashley. Running back Jannard Nutley Jr. Offensive line Dante Ogboon. Abuin. Interesting names this year. Safety wide receiver running back Damon Street, and starting wide receiver running and signed wide receiver running back Braylon Henderson. A lot of wide receiver slash running back combo players, so going to be kind of an interesting way how they do their offense, because they're probably going to have a lot of end arounds and stuff like that from what it seems from the sign of their players. Now we get to the most interesting signings that happened here, and that is in the NAL. And I will say, like I said before, this seems to be the strongest year the National Rugby League has had. You already got a good amount of teams, and not only that, if it wasn't for the demise implosion of the Entertainment Football Association in the Northeast, because earlier I said that was the best probably traveling league in the Arena League. Now it's the National Arena League, as I showed a few weeks ago in the picture. Of course, it looks like it, well, depending on where you are, like with the arrow sign of going to the east. So greater than here, less than on the right. Well, your guys is right, not mine. And now they're getting some interesting players here. Of course, Southwest Kansas Storm, they just re-signed their star quarterback Matt Struck, and then also signed their top rookie offensive lineman Joshua Moore today. Then Omaha signed quarterback Demiri Croft, very good quarterback. Louisiana Rougarou, of course, formerly Shreveport Rougarou, have a good quarterback at David Perkins. And then now the biggest signing and surprising one is that the Colorado Spartans signed former NFL quarterback, former first round pick Denver Broncos quarterback Paxton Lynch. You heard that right. Paxton Lynch, and also I do believe he did play for the UFL as well. So a former first round pick has come down and played in the Arena League. So now Colorado is getting kind of interesting there, and that's going to be a good type deal, of course, especially for the first game, since they're facing now their new in-state rival, the Pablo Punisher. So that's going to be a good, interesting there, and see how Paxton Lynch translates to the arena game. Of course, Paxton Lynch is a pretty good mobile quarterback, so that's going to be quite good to see. And talk about a huge splash for the National Arena League. And National Arena League is going to have a lot of good, interesting QB battles here. So, like I said, the National Arena League seems like they're going to jump ahead pretty good now for this year, because I'm just amazed here. And then, let's see. Ah, yes, if I remember correctly, because another thing too is with the Arena League, because they lost one team and they actually did get a good one, and they put in a spot which actually was pretty smart here. Hold on. Excuse me. Now we got to have it. All right, come on here. Loading, loading, loading. Slowly but surely. All right, like, well, loads I'll see here. So, a market that actually did just lose football just recently a few weeks ago was, of course, the city of Memphis. Of course, with the UFL, they have moved three of their teams, which was, of course, Memphis, San Antonio, and on here, Memphis, San Antonio. Why am I forgetting about the third? Memphis, San Antonio. Ah, here we go. Okay, here we go. Tommy Benazio and his team are assisting the launch of the Arena League team based in Memphis for the 2026 season. Pig Butts and Pigston, Memphis, here we come. Nothing goes better with Memphis barbecue than a high. The Arena League is proud to be launching what will be one of the 8 teams competing in the league for 2026 campaign. So they are going to have 8 teams, so they got 2 more teams to announce. That means 2 new community are set to follow over the coming weeks. Benzio Sports is blessed to be part of this awesome league at such a time. And they're having a deal at joining at Aldo's Pizza Pies on Thursday, November 4th. So like right now you got Tommy Benzito from Memphis, Tennessee. And so that actually is smart to go like you actually have that place getting a new team. And then strangely enough in the new Continental Football League that we just talked about on the X Fan show associated with the Gateway Sports here, that they're putting a team in San Antonio just now, like because the San Antonio Brahmas were either, I don't know, either you can't really say dissolved or put on pause here since the team has moved. So, like I said, oh yeah, Michigan Panthers. That's right. Michigan Panthers was the third team for the UFL. So that's going to be interesting now because now with the Arena League, you got Memphis, and they're kind of staying in that Midwest area with the Arena League, North to Midwest region, and kind of similar to the National Arena League because they're in the middle, Midwest, like the Midwest to the west. AF1 is all region. The AAL is more East Coast right now. Then, oh yeah, then the AIF, they have a North Division right now. We still have not heard their South Division, but they're kind of in the more of the just the Midwest region up and down. So it's going to be interesting how it goes here in the next few weeks for Arena League, Arena football news and stuff here because we got more teams coming, and especially if I predict this right, the day after Veterans Day, that's going to be the official announcement of the Oceanside Bombers to the AF1. So that concludes this episode of Arena Frontier here. So we will not have a show here next week due to honoring the day of Veterans Day. So we will be back the Tuesday after, which I believe is November 18th. So yes. Yeah, November 18th we'll be back on. I might have a guest here and go along. Sorry about that. So see you all in 2 weeks.